Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing today? Well, in today's video, I want to talk about something that I saw and it caught my attention and I'm like, why would they call it that? But then again, nothing surprises me anymore. So half of the country is now facing what they're calling the apocalyptic summer. Okay, so I'm taking this as because of the heat waves, okay, that everyone is experiencing, they are enduring, and something else that you're probably going to experiencing now for the first time as well, if you haven't already been experiencing this, rolling blackouts, okay? So just be, prepared for this, okay? Matter of fact, I have been receiving text messages, phone calls, and emails from a lot of you saying, it's 112 degrees here right now. What? What do you mean it's 112 degrees? Where are you? This is insane. This is the hottest it's ever been here. Oh, wow. So there's something seriously going on here. And I know there's also a lot of you that have brought something else to my attention. That someone, we're not going to mention names here, is controlling the weather. Could it be possible? Let's not get into that. But anyway, so, all right. Why would they call it an apocalyptic summer? Maybe it's because of all the heat waves. I've been hearing about them from one coast to the other. And now with the drought that's out west. Let me put it to you this way. The other night, I had to go get gas, right? So I go in, because I don't pay at the pump. I go in and I pay, to go give money to the cashier. And she's talking to another customer. And I can't remember exactly what the conversation was about. But she had said something along the lines of a ketchup shortage because of the drought and farmers not being able to harvest tomatoes. So now, be on the lookout for a ketchup shortage. I swear. And I looked at her and I said, who told you that? She said, my uncle is a farmer out in California. And because of the drought, he's lost all of his crops in tomatoes. And I guess he's like a very large farmer for tomatoes, and all of his crops go towards whatever. She really didn't explain, but she said be on the lookout for a ketchup shortage. Okay, so there's a heads up for you. So this apocalyptic summer, what's one way or multiple ways that we can prepare? Plenty of water, stay hydrated. If you can afford a generator, let's please start getting one, okay? One way, open your windows and put wet cloths over the open windows. When the wind or breeze comes in, it'll bring in cooler, not cold, but cooler air into the house through the wet cloths. I know that this is going to be very hard for a lot of people to deal with, and I get that. So this deep drought and the early heat waves are setting the west half of the United States up for dry. The fires, okay, those fires are going to keep going. This is terrible. It really is. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. So, I will give it to you like this, okay? About 91% of the West was in drought as of June 22nd, okay? With 55% experiencing extreme or exceptional drought, while 2 back-to-back heat waves exacerbated the drying of soils and vegetation, like I was talking about the tomatoes, okay? Increasing the potential for wildfires. We've seen the videos, we've heard the stories, all right? Meanwhile, water supplies are dwindling. Lake Mead, the reservoir formed by the Hoover Dam, is the lowest it's been since the 30s. When it was first filled, and California's reservoirs were about 50% lower than the usual for this time of year. The current conditions are part of a 22-year-long drought in the western U.S., the likes of which have not been seen for more than 400 years prior to 2000, the year 2000. But this summer is likely to eclipse the drought of the last 2 decades. And this was said by a man by the name of Benjamin Cook, and he's a climate scientist at NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies. Even the context of those last 20 years of drought, this year really stands out, he said. For the Southwest, it's very likely to be the worst single year of drought since 2002. Wow. That's something. That really is something. In the immediate term, drought in the West is promoted by La Nina conditions, okay, which were placed through winter 2020-2021, according to Scott Handel. And he's a meteorologist, okay, at NOAA, the NOAA, okay, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So, during La Nina, surface temperatures in the eastern Pacific Ocean are cooler than usual, which tends to promote drier weather in the West. Now, this natural variation in Pacific temperatures is now in a neutral state, neither La Nina or El Nino. Handel told reporters on June 17th, and a reversal to El Nino conditions, which bring more moisture to the Southwest, is not likely through the winter. Extended drought is part of the history of the U.S. West. Modern meteorological records in the West go back little more than a century, but tree rings hold a longer record of wet and dry years. This data, stretching back 2,000 years in some cases, reveal that long, deep droughts occur even without the influence of climate change. The period between 800 and the 1500s in particular was marked by several long droughts. The most comparable to today's 22-year-long dry spell occurred in the 1500s and ultimately lasted 30 years. Wow. A less severe drought in the 1200s lasted a full century. The current drought ranks with these mega droughts of the past, but it's being exacerbated by climate change over the past 7 decades. Soil and moisture has trended lower and lower on the hottest days in the Southwest. According to research published on June 17th, the top 5% of hottest days in the Southwest are now 22% drier than they were in the 1970s. The study found with the situation worse in California and Nevada, where they are set 30% drier. The dryness is due to declines in winter and spring moisture. Wow. Climate change causes more winter precipitation in western states to fall as rain instead of snow, while warmer spring temperatures lead to more evaporation and transpiration or surface moisture lost to the atmosphere early in the season. These declines in snow and spring moisture reduce river flow in the spring and the summer. And these changes feed back on themselves. Multiple years of drought in a row yield extra dry soil, which take up water that would otherwise travel into rivers and reservoirs. A lot of the snow, when it melted, didn't go into the rivers. It went into replenishing the soil moisture. A feedback loop connects drought, dry soil, and heat waves. In moist conditions, solar energy goes into heating and evaporating water before it starts increasing the air temperature. In drier conditions, with nowhere for that energy to go, temperatures climb quickly. With the right weather conditions, such as high pressure ridge that parked over the western U.S. the week of June 14th, this can lead to record-breaking heat. With this all adds up to is a region already prone to drought being pushed to the edge by the influence of climate change. By our calculations, if we were to remove the global warming trend, then we'd still be in a bad drought, and it would still be one of the worst droughts in the last 400 years. But it wouldn't even come close to contending with the mega drought of the 1500s. I feel bad for you guys out there. Now, the medium impact of the drought will be to push the potential for wildfires, okay? And this, if anything, is my biggest concern, okay? Because wildfires, they get out of control, and sometimes there's just no stopping them. There's no stopping them. No matter, because when there's a drought, there's no water. You know what I mean? There's no stopping wildfires sometimes. There's really not. I mean, look, California has dealt with the worst of wildfires. Remember Australia last year? I mean, fuel for wildfires, especially sagebrush, okay, juniper, pine, is drying out earlier than usual. What we are seeing now in June is typically what we would see in July and August. Now, the greatest risk will be at high elevations in the foothills. One silver lining of drought is that it reduces grass growth at lower elevations, providing less fuel for grass fires. In June, areas of greater risk are in the southwest and along the Pacific coast. New Mexico, Arizona, southern Colorado, Utah, eastern Nevada, northern California, and parts of Oregon and Washington state, right? July may bring relief for Arizona and New Mexico as long-term forecasts are predicting a rainy monsoon season for these regions, but that month will push above normal fire risk into the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies, with much of California still under elevated threat. By August, monsoon moisture is expected to push north, shifting the area of concern into the Northern Rockies, Dakotas, Pacific Northwest, and the foothills and higher elevations of California. Now, much of the West will have been above normal at some point. Actual ignition of fires still depends on a few factors, though. One is the prevalence of fire weather, which means gusty winds, dry lightning. The other is human activity. Okay, many fires are sparked by people flicking cigarettes out the window, bonfires, campfires, anything. I understand, wanting to have a gathering, wanting to have fun. Okay. Now is not the time, especially out there, to be having a campfire or a bonfire. Don't do it. And if you have to get rid of a cigarette, you know what? Stop smoking. Okay? I mean, and I realize, easier said than done. I get it. I really do. I used to smoke. Okay? But seriously, keep something in the car. A styrofoam cup with water in it. And then just put it in there and put a lid on it. And when you get home, throw it in the trash. Okay? Stop put it out don't flick it out the window anymore. All right? Please. Just don't. All right? Think of your environment. Okay? Think of the people that you will be displacing out of their homes when a fire starts because of that cigarette that you just had to flick. Think of the animals that will lose their habitat because of that. Okay? Think before you act. Okay? Reducing those opportunities with fire bans and responsible behavior can reduce the ultimate impact of Western wildfires. Drought also increases the demand for water, both by individuals and agriculture, which uses 80% to 90% of all water used in the West, according to the USDA. Water restrictions are already in place in many Western cities, as water managers warned of limited supply, but crops are a tougher nut to crack. So, this is just this scenario, this whole thing is just very hard on everybody. Okay, it really is. They're saying that municipalities are able to set up and conserve water and change their water use in ways that did not severely impact day-to-day lives. Yeah. If you can find a way that, but from what I understand, because I have family that lives out in California, and they check meters all the time. And, I've heard, if you go over a certain amount every single day, you get fined and stuff like that. And it's like, if you have a large family, what do they tell you? Don't flush the toilet, don't take a shower. You know what I mean? Are you guys allowed to have rain catchment barrels? The collapsible ones? You know what? I'm going to leave the link in the description box below of this video on where you can get the collapsible rain catchment barrels. Okay, they are $36 at Home Depot. And the reason why I say the collapsible ones, because you can hide them. And they're green. Put them behind a bush. You know what I mean? And if anyone says anything, guess what? You can take them apart and put them in the garage or in your closet or whatever the case may be. Get these ones. Okay? Anyway. In a warming world, Western drought is likely to become more and more normal. Baseline climate will make it easier to fall into drought and harder to climb out. This raises questions about how the region will adapt in the future. Yeah, this is very hard to deal with. It really is. All right, guys. There's got to be a way, you know, buying bottled water. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. You know, is it illegal in these states to have, you know, rain catchment barrels? That's why I said, you know, get the collapsible one from Home Depot. What are they going to do? You know what I mean? I'm serious. You know, I'm one of those. What are you going to do? Yeah, you know, unless they have air rights, what are you going to do? It's falling from the sky. It's free. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're drilling for water. It's coming out of the sky. It's free. But like I said, air rights, you just don't know, especially in Newsom country. All right. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay positive, keep prepping, and as always, fear less. But number one, prep. All right. And stay cool as much as you can. As much as you can. And take, you know, with these wildfires, if you live in the area where these wildfires are, take precautions. Stay safe. If you have to evacuate, you get the hell out. You get the hell out when you have to. You know what I mean? Don't stay behind. Just get out. Please. All right?